Hi, in this video we will have a look at Power Automate approvals. So here is my SharePoint site and I have got an approval config and there are certain limits for each approvals. So up to 1000 pounds it's going to be one person going to approve it. If it's more than 1000 or up to 2000 then again it's one person going to approve it. Then if anything more than 2000 pounds up to 3000, there are two persons going to approve it. So the plan is first, if it's more than one person going to approve, then it goes to the first person, and if that person is going to approve, then it will go to the second person. If the first person reject it, it won't send the approval for the second person. Okay, so that's my configuration. Then I have got another entity called sales approvals. So here I am whenever a record is ended for that amount, then there are certain status here. I'll show you that. So here I have an option set values here, like first it will be new, then it will be pending manager's approval. Immediately it will change it when the approval sent it for the first manager. Yeah, and then once that manager is approved, it will set to approved. But if it's multiple people going to approve it, then always it will be pending manager approval until all the person will approve the approvals. Then it will change the record to manager approved. If anybody cancels it, that rejects it, that means immediately it will set it to manager rejected. Okay, so that's the choice column. Then under the approval config, this approvers, this one is a person or a group. Okay, so I'll show you that. Here it is, see that is a person or a group. So that means I need to get the email from the approvers and then iterate because it can have more than one approvers. Then iterate the email and send one by one approvals. Okay, let's start building the flow now. So the first thing is when an item is created, that's my trigger, and here I need to select my SharePoint site, and then this is called sales approvals. Okay, the next step is I need to find who is approving it. Remember, I got the config here, so I need to do some filtering job here to find if that amount is between between which category it is, 1000 or 2000 or 3000. Yeah, so for that I'm going to do another get operation here. So go to SharePoint, get items, and that is my approval config. Okay, right, the next thing we need to do here is I'm going to add a filter array here. There are different ways you can filter it, but I'm going to use this technique now here. So filter array, the value coming from the get items. So remember, for this method, what I'm doing here is the approval config. I'm trying to get who are the approvers for that amount. So if it's 3000, I need to get these two people here. Yeah. So for that, I'm trying to get all the approval config first, then filter array using the get item values. That's a value. Then the next thing I need to use here is the trigger amount. The trigger amount is the key one here. So let me search the amount here and get the trigger amount first when an item is created. Yeah, is less than or equal to the amount of the get items. So that will give you more than one record, but we need to exactly locate which the amount it is between that. So for that, again I need to use another filter also here. Okay, filter array 2 then. Yeah, and this one coming from the body of the previous output, that is this. Then the amount, so the amount coming from this filter array I need to use here. So here I'm going to use an expression again. item question mark amount, here it is greater than or equal to, okay, equal to the trigger amount again. So amount, because that's one we need to compare it. So remember, the trigger amount is coming from the when an item is created. That's actual, the record amount it is, right? So now what we got here is we got the amount then, which is the approval config record then, which is matching with that amount. Okay, let's save this flow. I'll show you what's output going to look like here. Okay, so let me run the flow now. Right, let me go back to the sales approvals, click on new. I'm going to enter, like, I don't know, product 100. That's the new, default is new, and I'm going to enter here 3000. The amount I'm going to enter here is 3000. So we know that, okay, just put 2700. So let me save it. Yep, so it's new and 2700. So that means it should come under here. So I need to get these two persons' email then. Yeah, so far we build the flow up to the config to get. So let me see, the flow should kick in any minute. Here it is, flow ran successfully. So let's see the filter. So here it is, see that? So I got that, the config record, which contains the 3000 matching one, I got it. So if I look the show row output here it is, see that? So here that approver, I got two approvers there for that. So one is Ken and one is Ajit. See that? There are two emails there. So the next task is we need to get this. Yeah. So remember, I entered 2700. So it is matching the third record, which is this. And we got these two approver object now. Yeah. Which is the person group. But from there, we need to iterate and get the emails. So that's the next thing we need to do here. Right. For that, what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to initialize a variable here. So initialize a variable called all approvers. And I'm going to make that as an array now. Okay. The next thing, I'm going to add an apply to each loop and getting the output from the filter 2, the body of the filter 2. So filter 2 1, that's the last the filter we got, right? And the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a compose and rename to approver, or approvers, yeah, approver, and then search for approvers. Sorry, we need to use an expression here. So what I'm going to do here is, I know this is an array, and from there I need to get the another collection of array for the approvers. Yeah. So for that, I'm going to use and another technique here. So which is, see that's property called approvers. I'm trying to get that array now. Here it is. So let's run this. I'm going to use the recent trigger and run it. Here it is. So remember, this returned as that an array. So that contains ID, title, and everything. Remember about this. ID, title, and approvers and the amount. Yeah. Then what we did is we iterate that array, and then inside that I want to get only the approvers. See that? Nicely we got that now. So that is Ajit and Ken. That's what we got. If I take you back to here, that's what we got. See this person or group, Ajit or Ken. Yeah. If you got config like a text field, then you don't need to go through this way. Yeah. You can just put the email, comma, then another email if you want. Yeah. I just thought, this is another way of doing the filters and doing the approvals, Right. So that's that. And what we need to do next is, I'm only interested in that object. The person group is an object, so we get lots of other things. I'm not interested in everything, so all I need is the emails from that. So I'm going to use a select and take the output of the approver now from the previous step. See the output? Yeah. Then here I need to get the email. So remember, we know there's a property called email there. So click on this sign here, T sign. Then place your cursor inside, click on the expression and type item, ? email. Oh, I forgot a single quotes there. Here it is. Okay, now try to run it again and see what we get. See, that's nicely, we got the email now for that 2,700 pounds. These are the two approvers. Here it is. Yeah. So from the config, we got the email we want. Right. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a set variable now. So add set variable action. And all approvers, because it's an array, so I can easily say the output of that select. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do here is, we are inside the array now. So next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to update item. Okay, so let me select the site name. List is called sales approvals. Now the ID I want. So remember, search for the ID always, and then the ID is coming from the trigger of the record ID. Yeah, see that? When an item is created, that's ID. Now the title, again the title, because it's mandatory, we need to remap it. So search for the title. When an item is created, it's the same title we want. Then we need to change this to pending manager approval. Now, because we got the email now, we are going to send the approval. So before that, I'm changing the status to pending manager approval. Save this and run the flow again. Right, looks like it's updated successfully, and under the set variable we got, under that array we got all approvers is an array variable, so we got two values also there. So now we are ready to send the approvals, but before that we change the status to pending manager approval. Let's go back here and have a look. There it is, pending manager's approval now. Yeah. Okay, the next thing we are going to do here is edit the flow then. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use couple of variables now. Again, another variable, initialize variable, and call total approvers count. Make it as integer. I'll explain in a minute why we need this. Yeah. And I need another initialize variable again. And call that is rejected as Boolean. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do here is we need to we need to iterate the emails now and send the approvals. Yeah. So for that, again, add the apply to each. Then here I'm going to say all approvers, because we got all the emails in that. Yeah. Okay, now we need to add a condition here, because using that condition, if the first one is rejected, we don't want to continue the loop, and we don't want to send to the another waiting for approval also. So the technique we need to do here is we need to go and add a condition, and that, remember, this variable called is rejected. That's what I'm going to use here. Is rejected is equal to false, then continue it. Okay, so that means nobody rejected it, then I'm happy, then I want to start and approvals. So start and wait for approvals. Okay, and here I'm going to say first to respond. Okay, title. So the title, I'm going to use the same title as the trigger. You can put some, custom details, or you can do like please approve this amount, and then you can search for the amount coming from the trigger, which is this. Here it is. Then the assign to. So now remember, we are in a loop which is iterating the all approvers. To get each email, what we want is we need to use item. That's it. So that will give me the first email then. Okay, then inside the details, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to say amount, approval amount, again search for the amount. When an item is created, that's the amount we want. Oops, mapped it wrong there. Yep. If you want a link to send, you can of course send it. So you can say link to item. See that? So that will give the SharePoint link of the record as well. So before they want to get up, before they want to approve it, they can go and have a look the other details of the record if you want. Yeah. Then some description if you want. I'm not going to cover all that. So that's that. So the next thing we need to do here is I'm going to initialize a variable. So there are a couple of things we need to do here. So basically, sorry, not initialize, increment. I'll tell you why we want that, why we want this technique here. So increment the variable of the total approvers count to 1. So remember this variable we are using now. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another condition now. So this condition is going to say the outcome of the start and wait approval is equal to approve. Okay, so let's go to the yes or the no one. Yeah, there are two situations here. So the first thing we need to do here is, okay, let's go to the no one. So suppose this is rejected. What we want to do here is we want to use the update item then. Yeah, so update. Oh, sorry, I need to add the action there. SharePoint. Update item. Okay, again, select the website, sales approvals, ID, search for the ID. Remember the ID is coming from the when an item is coming from our trigger. Yeah. Then again the title. So search for the title again. When an item is created, that's the title we want. And here we know that this is rejected. So we need to set it to manager rejected. That's all we need. Save it. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, and this is under the no condition. Remember, this is under the no condition of the if. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use set variable here now and set it to is rejected to true. Here it is. So that means what we did here is, let me save it. So once it's set to true means next time when it come back, it won't send for another approval if it's more than one, because it checks here always. If it false means then only it will send for the second one. Yeah, that's why we can skip that process completely then, because it's already rejected. We don't want to send it to another person for approval then. Okay, now going for the yes part now. Okay, so under the yes part, what we want to do here is we don't want to update it every time to say update the record. You can do it if you want. So that means, you know, couple of times it's going to update the same value there. So it's the best thing to do here is we can add another if condition under the yes. Then here what we want is we need to check the total approvers count is equal to, we need to use an expression here. So remember the array we are iterating called the total all approvers. So that's what we need to match here. Yeah. So go to the expression and say length of variable of all approvers. So that means if it's matching with this, that means we send it for everyone then. That's good news. Yeah. Because it's reached the last person then, if it's matching. Then we are ready to, you know, update the manager approved status there. So again, update item. You know what, I'll show you another technique here. You could go to the update item of this one here and say copy this, copy to my clipboard. Go back here and add action. Click on the my clipboard. Oh, I didn't copy it. Let me go back again. I don't know why, what happened there. Copy to my clipboard. Yeah. Add action. My clipboard. Here it is. Okay, let's expand it. Let's go back and see it's added or not. Here it is, it's added that. So now in this case, what I want to do here is I want to say manager approved. Here it is. Save it. Okay, now we can test this now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the test, the last run, because I already created a record. Yeah. Okay, my flow is running. Now I should get an email for the first person, should get an email for the approval now. Yeah. Let me check my email. Here we go. Here is my email. So I'm going to approve this. Okay. Approved. Submit. Okay, that's done. So now if I take you back to the flow now, here's my flow is still running because it's going to send another email to the second person, which is Ken. Okay, let me check Ken's email now. Okay, here we go. Ken got the email now and it says approve or reject. So Ken is going to approve this. The comment is optional actually. Yeah, so I'm going to submit now this. Let me close this. Hopefully flow should finish running now. Here we go, flow finished running now. So let's go back to SharePoint. So this is pending manager approval. Now it should say manager approved. Here it is, manager approved now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to enter again the same amount now, which is going to be 2% again. So I'm going to have product 200 and to make 3000. Let's me refresh it. Waiting for my flow to trigger in any minute. Okay, flow is running now. Let me take you to the run history. Here it is. So again, this time I'm expecting you know, 2 people here. Let me go back to my filter here. Here it is. So I got we got 2 emails there because the amount I entered is 3,000. So there are two persons to approve that. Yeah. So let me go and check my email now here. Okay, here it is. So I got the first email sent to this person, and that he's going to reject it. Okay, so submit. So what the flow should do here is it shouldn't send for the next person. So let me go back here. Here we go. That's finished. So let's go back here and check the run history. What happened there? So apply to each. Remember the first, if it's not rejected, then only it will execute. So first time it is not rejected, and it sent the approval, and we rejected it. Then in the second one, if you click on the next here, click on next, you can see this is false now. So it didn't send for the next start and wait for approval. It didn't send for another approval then. Yeah, it did, it did directly exited that. So what it said is, okay, because the first person rejected it, it's not going to send another approval. So that means if we go back here and refresh this list, so it says manager rejected. So the first person rejected, so immediately it will update to manager rejected, and rest of the the emails which is the system won't send for another approval. Yeah, so that's the technique we are using here. Okay, let's iterate it. So the first thing is, when a sales record is created, we are looking the configuration to find what emails we want to send, because it's more configurable in this way actually. So I got an approval config record. This is a text title, and this is the person group, and this is just a number. The amount is a number actually. Here I'll show you my list settings here. Here it is. See that? So this is more flexible than, I can then go and change, add more people here, or delete one person or adding another person, things like that. It's a very flexible way of doing the things here. So if I want to add another person for the approval here tomorrow, then all I need is I can add here, like Ken. Here it is. See that? And save the record. And because of this config, the approval then we are doing, it will take care of automatically then based on the amount. Yeah, so that's that process. Then once we get the email, we iterate all the emails, then we looking the technique like is rejected is false, then only we want to go for the approvals. Once it's rejected, we don't want to send another approval. That's what we are doing there. And also here we are capturing the outcome, and if the outcome is reject, immediately we'll update it. And we don't update immediately if it's approved, because we want to send for more than one person for the approval. Once everybody is approved, that means total approvers count is equal to the length of the variable of that all approvers. That's the reason, remember, we put these two variables here. Yeah, I put a total approvers count, and also is rejected as well. Yeah. So if it is matching that, then that means yes, we are ready to update the manager approved. Yeah, hope this is useful. Thank you for watching.